Good morning, one and all present here. This is Amit Kumar Singh, and welcome to another session on transportation problem. So, guys, I believe that we are enjoying our journey on the application of transportation problem. So, we have learned a lot of cases in the transportation problem, and trust me, yet more surprises are yet to come. So, while discussing the journey of the transportation problem till now, what we have covered till now we have understood that transportation problem is a special case of linear programming problem, where in order to solve the transportation problem, we have to make sure that the data given in the matrix should be minimum matrix, because the steps which we know to solve the transportation problem can only be done provided the data inside the matrix should be minimum matrix. So once we understood the data inside is the minimum matrix, then we need to see that the total sum of demand should be equal to total sum of supply. So once the total sum of demand is equal to total sum of supply, then we'll start solving the problem by developing the initial basic feasible solution. That initial basic feasible solution, what we'll develop, for that we have three methods. One method is the northwest corner method. The another method is matrix minima method or least cost method. And the third method is the Vogel approximation method. So these are the three methods to work on developing the initial basic feasible solution. Once you develop the initial basic feasible solution, you do the test of degeneracy, and once after doing the test of degeneracy, you will find the total cost. Once you find the total cost and test of degeneracy, it may be that the allocation what you done may or may not be appropriate. In order to prove that your allocation is appropriate or not, what you will do, you will work on the test of optimality. So you do the optimal test. Now, whenever we do optimal test, the optimal test is basically done two ways. Either you can follow stepping stone method or you can follow modified distribution method. So you follow any of the method, you can do the optimal test. Okay, normally stepping stone method and all is being not taught in colleges and all. So for doing the optimality test, everywhere we teach only modified distribution method, which is called UV method. So when we work on UV method, I told you two formulas. There what we do, we randomly assign some variable corresponding to every row and column. Those are called U1, U2, U3, U4, V1, V2, V3, V4, like that. Out of all that variable, one variable will put equal to 0, and then we find the remaining variable by only considering the occupied cells, where we follow the formula that cost of that cell is equal to ui plus vj. With that, we'll find the corresponding values of u and v. Once we found the corresponding value of u and v, then once that part is done, then we'll see that the cost allocation for each cell which are unoccupied, so the difference of their cost with respect to the u and v value should be positive. In case they are not positive, then we'll follow looping to make sure that they become positive. And that process we keep doing till the time that we can make everything positive. So we have studied till now the problems, whatever I have studied to you, where we have done all these steps, those were the balanced transportation problem. Those were your balanced transportation. So now today, what we'll do, we'll work on the transportation problem in case if the problem is unbalanced. So you can see this problem. If you notice in this problem, the total sum of demand, if you see the total sum of demand, that is 85 plus 35, that is 120. 120 plus 120, 120 plus 95. So 120 plus 95, it should be 215. So if you see the total sum of demand here, the total sum of demand here is coming as 215. So the total sum of demand, if you do here, the total sum of demand is coming here 215. The total sum of demand, what I'm doing here, the total sum of demand I'm getting is 215. The total sum of demand, what I'm getting here is 215 My pen is not working. So the total sum of demand I'm getting here is 215. Total sum of demand I'm getting is 215. While if you see the total sum of supply, if you see the total sum of supply till now is 70 plus 55, that is 125. 125 plus 70, that is 195. So total sum of supply I'm getting is 195. So you can understand, if you see this problem, the total sum of demand I'm getting is 215 and the total sum of supply I'm getting is 195. Now this is not the balanced transportation problem. So you have to, first thing you have to make sure that the data given in the matrix should be cost matrix. Okay, so these, if nothing is given in the problem, that is a cost matrix only. So till now I have not mentioned, I have not write full story of the problem. Till now, whenever I used to solve the problem, not written story, so you can understand they are the cost matrix only. Once you have understood that they are cost matrix, the next thing you have to see that that the total sum of demand and total sum of supply should be equal. So where you always remember that the demand comes horizontal and supply comes vertical. That also you keep that in your mind. Certain time in exam, no, they will not give you like given metrics. They will give you data written in the question. So that also you have to keep in your mind that the demand used to be in horizontal and supply used to be vertical. That also you keep in the mind. Otherwise, in case if you write opposite, then you may lose your marks. Everything you lose. So you have to, that also you have to keep in your mind that the total sum of demand should be horizontal and the total sum of supply should be vertical. Now, if you see in this problem, the total sum of demand is not equal to total sum of supply. So in order to make it equal, what you can do? In order to make it equal, what you can do? So in order to make it equal, you can create a dummy row or dummy column. Now you see that supply is 20 less. So can I add a dummy row? So add a dummy row called 20 and put a value called 20. So add a dummy row and put a value called 20. What you are doing? So if you add a dummy row and put the value called 20 and the corresponding element, make the corresponding element to be 0, 0, 0. Why you done this? Why you did this? Just to make the total demand equal to total supply. The idea of doing this is to make the total demand equal to total supply. The moment you made the total demand equal to total supply, the idea was to make sure that the total demand was equal to total supply. You have to make the total demand equal to total supply by adding a dummy row or dummy column. In case if the total demand would be less, then you would have added the dummy column. And the same problem, imagine the same problem you would have got like maybe this demand is written and the demand is something like this 25 and then 35, 25. Suppose 80, demand 70, then 60. Suppose this is your demand. Okay. So 80 plus 70 is 150, 210. Suppose your demand is 210. Okay. Now, if you see your supply, your demand is 210. If you see your supply, suppose I'm just doing this dummy thing. So suppose your supply is maybe, suppose your supply is 55, and again your supply is 45. Then your supply is, then your supply is 90. Okay, so 55 plus that is 180. 180 plus this is something like 40. So 180 plus 40 is 220. So if you see your supply is 220, but your demand, if you see in this problem, supply is 220, but your demand is 210. So what you will do? So you will add a dummy row where in that dummy row you only, the value should be 0 only. Put the value 0 only. But here what you did, you added an element in that dummy column. So you add a dummy column there you assign cost value to be 0 and the final value to be 10, so that ultimately you made total demand equal to total supply. So this is the way you should do. Whenever you get the problem, you have to make sure in that problem that the total demand should be equal to the total supply. Once you are sure that your total demand is equal to total supply, then only you start solving the problem. Next class and all when I'll do, in next class and all when I'll do, I'll give you matrix where in that matrix the element were given in the profit. So you have to convert that maximum matrix into minimum matrix. So till now, like next class and all when we do problem. So after this, after we finish this unbalanced, so after we are done with this unbalanced transportation problem, after this unbalanced transportation problem, after this unbalanced transportation problem, after this unbalanced transportation problem. So right now I'm talking about unbalanced transportation problem. So after this unbalanced transportation problem, what I'll do, I'll give you a problem where the data would be based on maximum profit and all. So if you see your previous year question paper and all already I have forwarded in the group. So if you see your previous year question paper, then you will see that last question, that 15 marks question and all. So they are all in maximum matrix. They are given in the question that the data given in the question is based on the profit. So the data given the question is based on the profit. So what you will do? So they will ask you that maximize the total profit. So in that question we'll do after this unbalanced transportation problem, where the matrix would be given as a maximum matrix. So how to solve that kind of problem we'll learn after this unbalanced transportation problem. So right now we are learning unbalanced transportation problem. So where 15 we have to take? Here. Here the total demand is equal to total supply. So 85 plus 35, 120. 120 plus 50, 170. 170 plus 45. 170 plus 45 is 215. And the total supply is 70 plus 70, 140. 140 plus 20, 160. 160 plus 50, 215. So the total demand should be equal to total supply. In case while doing giving you any example, a little bit data here and there is there, you understood. I hope you have understood that part. That ultimately you have to make total demand equal to total supply, where you add dummy row, dummy column. And so if your total demand is more than the total supply, so you will add a dummy row. And so if your total demand is more than your total supply. So if your total demand is more than the total supply, then you will add a dummy row. Then we'll add a dummy row. We'll add a dummy row. Dummy row is added. Dummy row is added. In that dummy row, whatever we'll add in the dummy row, we'll assign a supply value, which is the difference of the demand minus supply. And in case if vice versa, if total supply is more than if the total supply is more than the total demand, if total supply is more than the total demand, if total supply is more than the total demand, then a dummy column is added. Then a dummy column is being added. When you add a dummy column, then you add a dummy column, and in that dummy column you will put the value which is the difference of the value. So I hope you are understanding this. No one have any confusion. So you can do that work. Anyone have any doubt? Anyone want to ask anything? So if you see this problem now, this is the problem with you. The total demand is, now I made total demand equal to total supply. So now what I'll do, now I'll develop now I will develop initial basic feasible solution. Initial, initial basic feasible solution. Initial basic feasible solution. So we can use any method, because in case in the problem they're asking you optimal solution. In case in the problem they're asking you optimal solution, you can start with any method. But again, we are last two classes we have used only northwest corner method. So now today let's do Vogel approximation method. So now I'll develop initial basic feasible solution by Vogel approximation method. So let's solve this problem, guys. Everyone quickly do the initial basic feasible solution, use Vogel approximation method and determine the initial basic feasible solution. Just a kind of revision, because again I have to enforce these things with you. Otherwise you people will keep forgetting. So so that's why today I thought, okay, let's do this problem by Vogel approximation method. So we have done the problem by northwest corner method or least cost method. So let's today do the same problem by using Vogel approximation method. Everyone, everyone I believe has written down this problem in the notebook and no one have any confusion. Now try. Now everyone start solving this problem by initial basic feasible solution. Everyone quickly start filling the value. Write down this problem if you have not written down the problem, and and tell me the total cost as per the initial. Tell me the total cost as per the Vogel approximation method. Use Vogel approximation method and tell me the total cost quickly. Now, I believe everyone got the answer. Anyone? What is the total cost you got? Now, if you want me to solve this problem, then I'll do like this. Here, this is 6 penalty, 6 minus 0. Then this would be 1. Then this would be 2, difference 2. Then here the difference 2, sorry 3. The difference here would be 3. Then here this difference would be 2, 3 minus 1. Here this would be 5 minus 2, 3. Here the difference would be 7 minus 4, 3. Here this would be 0. I believe you remember. First thing what you do in Vogel approximation method is that you find the difference between the minimum element and the next element which is bigger than the minimum element. So you will find the difference of all that. Once you find the difference of all that, now you see all the differences and you see which difference is the greatest. So out of all difference, the greatest one is 6. Now it means that now you have to do allocation of the first column. Once you understood that you have to do allocation for the first column, go inside that column and see which is the minimum element. The minimum element is 0. So if the minimum element is 0, so you do allocation for 0. So 0, if you see the 0 for the column 1, for the 0, the total supply is 20 and the total demand is 85. So how much you can fill? You can fill 20. So you can fill 20. So if you fill 20, this will become 65. This will become 65. Now the total demand for this will become 65. So like this, you will do one by one for all. One by one for all you do. You do for the total. So you see, so the total demand here, you can see here the total demand left is 65 while the supply is 20. Okay. Once you're done with that, now what I'll do again, now again I'll do for this row, now this column. So this is 11 minus 6 is 5. Here this is 4 minus 1, 5 minus 1 is 4. Then 4 minus 2 is 2. And then 7 minus 3 is 4. And then here is 3 minus 1, 2. Then 5 minus 2, 3, then 7 minus 4, 3. So now see which is the maximum value. So you can see after this, the maximum value you can see, if you see the maximum value here is 5. Okay, so you can see the maximum value is 5. Once you see the maximum value is 5, out of all difference, the maximum value is 5. Now again you will enter into the column 1. In that column 1, now the minimum element is 6. So you will do allocation of 65 on 6. So if you do allocation of 65 on 6, so now if you do allocation of 65 on 6, now this part is done. Now this part is done. No allocation can be done on 11 and 10, and the total supply which will be 5. So now the total supply that will be left will be 5. Now that part is done with. Now again gradually you go to this. Now this column done, you cannot do anything. Now here the difference is 4. Here the difference is 2. Here the difference is 4. Now here if you see the first row, the difference is 2. Now second row, the difference is 3. The third row, the difference is 3. Now out of all difference, the bigger one is 4. Any 4 you can take. If I take this 4, then the minimum element is 1. So what you can allocate here, you can put 5 here. So if you put 5, is the remaining 5 if you put here. Now you cannot do allocate anything on that row. Now the element demand left is 30. Again, now again you will do just nothing can be done. Here the difference is 7. 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 Here your difference is 7. Here now this difference is 2. Now here your difference is 1. Here your difference is 1. So it's 8 minus 7, 1. Now this is done. Now this 5 minus 2, 3. Then 7 minus 4, 3. This is done. All done. So see all the difference. The greatest one is 7. See all the difference. The greatest one is 7. Means now in that second column, the lowest element is 5. You can see the supply is 55. The demand is 30. So how much you can fill? You can fill 30. So if you fill 30, this part is done. Just become 25. 25 is left here. So now going further, this part, this first column is done. Second column is done. Third column, the difference is 2. Fourth column, the difference is 1. Okay, now if you see this row, first this row, this is done. Here the difference is 6. Here the difference is 3. This is done. So out of all differences, the bigger difference is 6. So just enter there. If you see the demand is 50, supply is 25. So put 25 here. Put 25 here. Put 25 here. Put 25 here. This is 25 left. 25 left here. So now 4 and 7 left. Now if 4 and 7 left, now you will give preference to 4. So you will put 45. If you put 45 here, then 70 minus 45, you will get 25, and that 25 you will put it. So this would be your initial basic feasible solution. So this will be your initial basic feasible solution. Everyone, please write down. If you have done, is well and good. If you have not done, then this is your initial basic feasible solution. Anyone, any doubt? Anyone want to ask anything? So once we are done with this, now we can do the test of degeneracy and find the total cost. So total cost you will get is 1010. So you can do that work from your end, do the test of degeneracy. So if you do you can do that from your end, the test of degeneracy. So test of, don't never forget to write all these things. So the test of degeneracy, that the total allocation, should be equal to number of row plus number of column minus 1. So here you can see 4 rows and 4 columns. So there should be total, there should be 7 allocation. Here you can see there are 4 rows and 4 columns. So you can count the total allocation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 allocation is there, means the given 7 allocation is there. It means that the given initial basic feasible solution is non-degenerate. It is non-degenerate. So once you're done with this, now you can find the total cost. Your total cost is 6 into 65 plus 6 into 65 plus 1 into 5 plus 5 into 30 plus 2 into 25 plus 4 into 25 plus 7 into 45 plus 0 into 20. So that is your total cost. So find this value. So that will come around 1010. It will come around 1010. Everyone do this much. Anyone have any doubt, ask me. Every time when you solve the transportation problem, you have to do the test of degeneracy. You have to do finding the total cost. So once you're done with this, now I can write my allocation. So my allocation, the answer what I got. So now I'll do the test of optimality. Now I'll do the test of optimality. Now for writing the test of optimality, no need to write supply, demand and all, because that part is 665, then 1, 5, writing my allocation, then 9, then 3, 11, then 5, 30, then 5, 30, then 2, 25, then 8, then 10, then 12, then 4, 25, then 7, 45, then 0, 20, then 0, 0, 0. Right, U1, U2, U3, U4, V1, V2, V3, V4. Now see any which row or column has the maximum allocation. So first row 1, 2 allocation, second row 2, third row 2, fourth row 1, first column 2, second column 2, third column 2, fourth column 1. So the maximum allocation is 2 only. So I'll put U1 equal to 0. So if I put U1 equal to 0, then V1 will be equal to 6, V2 will be equal to 1, If you get V2 equal to 1, then U2 will be equal to 4. So if U2 is equal to 4, then V3 will be equal to minus 2. If U2 equal to 4, then V3 will be equal to minus 2. If V3 is equal to minus 2, then U3 will be equal to 6. If U3 is equal to 6, then V4 will be equal to 1. So if V4 is equal to 1, then how to find U4? Now, so now I made V4 equal to 1. So now what I can do, what value, U4 values left. Now I can find U4. U4 is equal to minus 6. So what I did, I used the formula. You know the formula. So for the occupied cell, for the occupied cells, we use the formula called Cij minus Ui plus Vj. Now for the occupied cell, we use the formula called Cij minus Ui plus Vj. Because of using this formula, I found the corresponding value of U and V. So once I found the corresponding value of U and V, now I'll do for unoccupied cell. Now I'll work for unoccupied cells. So for unoccupied cells, now for unoccupied cells, I'll apply. So for occupied cell, this was the formula that Cij equal to Ui plus Vj. Now for the unoccupied cell, I'll use a formula called Cij minus Ui plus Vj. And I'll check that I'm getting a positive value or not. So for unoccupied cell, if Cij minus Ui plus Vj, if everything comes positive, means this solution is optimal. So I hope you remember the same thing we are doing again every time. From last 3-4 days, I'm teaching you the same thing. So now you can do fast. Now if I go to this cell, if I go to this cell, now in this cell you can see if I do the Ui minus Vj, if I do for them, so this would be 11. Na? This would be 11. You can do now fast. I no need of writing step by step. Na? How many time we write step by step? I hope by this time now you can do very fast. Now you can do everything very fast. So if I write this cell as A, if this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, this is E, this is F, this is G, H, I. You can do by yourself. These all are easy. So first I'm doing for A equal to 9 minus 0 minus minus 2. That will be 11. So it's a positive. Okay. Now doing for B equal to 3 minus 0, 0. So Cij minus Ui plus Vj. So 0 plus 1. So this is again positive. So you're getting 2. Then I'll see C. C is 11 minus 4 plus 6. 4 plus 6. You're getting 1. Again positive. Now D is 8 minus 4 plus 1. So again positive. Now I'll see E. E 10 minus 6 plus 6. E is 10 minus 6 plus 6. You're getting minus 2. So now this is the concern for you. Now this is the concern for you. This is minus 2. You're getting E equal to minus 2. You're getting E equal to minus 2. So E you're getting as minus 2. That is your concern. Now this is not the optimal solution. F, you see F is equal to 12 minus 6 plus 1. 6 plus 1 is again positive. Now G, if you see G, H, I, all will be positive only. If you see G is equal to 0 minus 6 plus 1, you're getting 5, all positive. Everything you're getting positive except uh, E was negative, E is minus 2. H also you get positive, I also you get positive. So now everything is positive except E. So that gave you negative value means so because that means the given solution is not optimal. So because now so now because I by looking at this problem I can say that because this cell whatever this cell A31 because the cell A31 is giving because the cell A31 is giving negative value value negative value when calculated by the formula when calculated by the formula called Cij minus Ui plus Vj. So the solution is not optimal. So the solution is not optimal. Now the solution is not optimal. So how will you make it optimal? How will you make it optimal? By adding dummy row or dummy column. So now you can play the game. Now you have to play the same game. So you will start from here, see where you can go. So you can only move on occupied cell. So you can think where you can move. You can think where you can move. You can think where you can move, and you have to make a loop. This is called loop. Once you move on the loop, now assign sign on this. So this is +1. This is -1. This is +1. This is -1. This is +1. This is -1. Plus minus plus minus plus minus like that you have to do. Okay, you have to move on the loop and give value plus minus plus minus. Move on the loop and give value plus minus plus minus plus minus. Just move on this loop and give assign value to them plus minus plus minus plus minus. You just need to move on the loop. You have to give value plus minus plus minus. Now, which color can I use? Or blue color. Now, so this now you can see. Now this is A. This is B. This is C. This is D. This is E. This is F. A B C D E F. B C D E F. Now you can see A B C D E F. You can see A B C D E F. Now what is A? A is theta. A is theta. Okay. What is B? B have the allocation of 25. So and after plus it should be minus. So plus minus. So this would be 25 minus theta. So B would be 25 minus theta. C would be 25 plus theta. C would be 25 plus theta. D. What is the D? What would be your D? What would be your D? Your D would be equal to 30 minus theta. Now what would be the E? E would be equal to 5 plus theta. Then what would be your F? F would be equal to 65 minus theta. So like this, you will get plus minus plus minus plus minus. So you just write. You start with the first variable and then plus minus plus minus plus minus you have to do. And now see all the negative variable. Now see all the negative variable. Now see all the negative variable. And in that all the negative value variable. Now just see all the negative variable. Now see all the negative variable. Now you can see only the negative variable. Now once you see the negative variable, out of the negative variable, find a variable which is the lowest. The lowest is 25. So you can see B is 25 minus theta. So out of all negative variable, the lowest is 25. So put B equal to 25. Put theta equal to 25. So if you put theta equal to 25, if you put theta equal to 25. Now, so it means now your A, now your A, now your A, now put theta equal to 25. So if you put theta equal to 25 means A is 25. So your B would be equal to 0. Your C will be equal to 25 plus 25, 50. Your D will be equal to 30 minus 25 means 5. Your E will be equal to 5 plus 25 means 30, and your F will be equal to 65 minus 25, that will be 4. So do this work. So out of all negative values of theta, or out of all negative value of theta, choose a value which is the minimum. So the minimum value is 25. So put A equal to 25. So B will be equal to 0. C will be equal to 25 plus 25, 50. D will be equal to 30 minus 25. E will be equal to 5 plus 25. F will be equal to 65 minus 25. I hope this part is done with everyone. So now you can create a new matrix. Now you can create a new matrix based on this. Everyone do the assignment. Just do the filling part, 11. Now 65 has become 40. Now 65 has become 40. Then 5 has become 30. Then 5 has become 30. Okay. Now this 30 has become, 30 was D, 30 has become 5. 30 has become 5. 25 is 25 plus sign. So that has become 50. 25 has become 50. Then this 10 has become 25. You have taken this value from here. This 10 and this was 25, that gone. The 7 is 45 and this is 20. So you have to do allocation in again. Now once you've done that part, now I can refill the value, whatever the answer I got. Now I can write 6, it becomes 40. Now this becomes 30. 1 has become 10, 30. This is 9. Now this is 9. So now this 11, 5, 5. This is 2, 50, then 8, then 8, then 10, 25, then 12, 4, then 7, 45, then 0, 20. This is 0, 0, 0. So based on this allocation, you did the test of optimality. Based on the output what you get on test of optimality, now again I refill this value. Based on that I refill this value. You can write down this value. Anyone have any doubt, anything anyone want to ask? So I wrote down in the notebook, and then from the notebook I copied this value here, so that I don't have to minimize and maximize again. This is U1, this is U2, this is U3, this is U4. Now this is this is V1, this is V2, this is V3, this is V4. Just do this. Now out of all U and V, you can put one variable 0. So I put V1 equal to 0. So this has become 6, this has become 10, and this has become 0. Now based on if U1 is 6, and here you can see the allocation 1, so you can, so 1 minus 6, so V2 will be equal to minus 5. So you put V2 equal to minus 5, so U2 will be equal to 10. So U2 is equal to 10, then V3 will be equal to minus 8. V3 will be equal to minus 8. Then if V3 is equal to minus 8, then V4 will be equal to minus 3. So now very quickly I put the value of U1, U2, U3, U4, V1, V2, V3, V4, where we followed the formula, that for the occupied cell, total allocation, what formula we follow, that Cij is equal to Ui plus Vj. We use that formula, and we did found the value of U1, U2, U3, U4, V1, V2, V3, V4. Out of all, one variable I have to put equal to 0. I put V1 equal to 0 because if you see column 1, the maximum allocation was there. So I put V1 equal to 0. So now for unoccupied cell, while for the unoccupied cells, I use the formula called Cij minus Ui plus Vj. For the unoccupied cell, I use the formula called Cij minus Ui plus Vj. Here now, if I use for unoccupied cells, you can gradually find the value of all the unoccupied cells. Suppose this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, this is E, this is F, this is G, this is H, this is I. A, B, C, F, G, H, I. So whatever the unoccupied cells are there, so I wrote them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Now I use the formula for unoccupied cells. I'm going to use this formula for unoccupied cells. I'm going to use this formula for the unoccupied cell. And with this formula, I'll see that this, by using this formula, is I'm getting positive value or negative value. In case if I get negative value, it means now the allocation what I've done is not optimal. So again we have to follow the looping and make it optimal. Okay, so guys, quickly find the value of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Tell me you are getting positive or negative. If you are getting negative, then which one is negative? Do it fast. Everyone, do fast. So A value is 9 minus 6 minus 8. So 6 minus 8 is minus 2. Minus 2 is 11. So A is 11. B equal to 3 minus 6. 3 minus 6. The U value is 6 and B value is minus 3. So 3 minus 3 is 0. C value is 11 minus 10 ui plus vj. So Cij minus ui plus vj, that is 10 plus 0, that is equal to 1. D is equal to 8 minus 10 minus 3, so that is equal to 1. And equal to E equal to 12 minus 10 minus 5, 10 minus 5, so that is 7. F equal to 4 minus 10 minus 8, 10 minus 8, you get 2. Now G, H, I all would be positive. So I think everything is, you're getting positive. So everything, whatever I'm getting is positive only. And, so if everything is positive means now the given solution is optimal. Now everything came positive means the given solution now is optimal. So if the given solution is optimal, now I'll find the total cost. So your total cost is 6 into 40 plus 1 into 30 plus 5 into 5 plus 2 into 30, sorry, 2 into 50, 2 into 50 plus 10 into 25 plus 7 into 45 plus 0 into 20. Once you're done with this, you can find the total cost. Total cost 240 plus 30 plus 25 plus 100 plus 250 plus 45, 7 5s are 35, 3 carry means 315. So 35 3 carry, 28 plus 3 is 315. Do this work. So if you do this calculation, you can do this calculation. 25 plus 315, so this is 340, 340, 340, 370, 370, 470, 470 plus 470 plus 490, 470 plus 490. So if you do 470 plus 490, you will get 960. You will get equal to 960. Any calculation mistake, you let me know. Yeah. Very good, Jayashree, everyone. So this is your optimal cost. Okay. Anyone have any doubt? Anyone have any doubt? Anything you want to ask before I wind up the class? So once we get the optimal solution, means our work is done. So what we did today, that whenever you get the transportation problem, once you check that if this is a cost matrix or not, you have to check this that the total demand. Guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So guys, electricity went away. So I'll finish the class. So whenever you get the unbalanced transportation problem, you make it balanced transportation problem by adding dummy row or dummy column. And once it becomes balanced transportation problem, then you know the solutions, how to solve it. By either you will find the initial basic feasible solution by either using northwest corner method or east coast method, or by Vogel approximation method, Once you do that, then you do the test of optimality. You know the process of doing the test of optimality. You will keep doing this work till that time. For every unoccupied cells, you will not get positive value. Once you get positive value, means the given solution is optimal and you're done with the work. And then find the final total cost based on the final output what you get. And then you got the answer. I hope everyone is clear with this. So can we wind up the class? Anyone want to ask anything? Please write in the chat box. Okay, everyone. So I believe that you have understood whatever we have covered today. So we have covered unbalanced transportation problem today. So this in this unbalanced transportation problem, we have taken in this problem, in this case of unbalanced transportation problem. So we have taken a case where the output what we got, we solve that output by Vogel approximation method. So we first found the initial basic feasible solution, and then one by one we have continued our journey. So thank you everyone. God bless you. See you again for the next class. Bye.